Welcome to Daily Bread Podcast. I'm Aaron Smith. I am always excited about sharing financial topics. If you are joining us, this is a podcast that discusses only issues that concerns money. We talk about strategies to allow you to build wealth in your household. Uh, we're interested. This podcast is interested in individuals who are earning at least $150,000 a year up to $500,000 a year. If you're a high income earner, you are a professional, business owner, we want you to tune into daily podcast. The idea behind Daily Bread podcast is to allow you to maximize on the income, the wealth that you are generating on a monthly basis. Just to kind of give you a little bit before we get into our second session, we did a session on multiple streams of income, and we talked about real estate, and we talked about real estate investment trust in our last podcast. This podcast, where we're going to have a conversation extending on multiple streams of income. Just to give you a little bit about my background, I am raised in Richmond, Virginia. I have been doing financial planning, financial coaching, advising individuals, small businesses, and nonprofits for a little bit over 32 years. My firm has a little bit over $250 million under management and advisory. We are excellent at having conversations about how you build wealth in your household. Not only building wealth in your household just for you, but how to maximize that wealth so that it can pass on from generation to generation. So, if you will, I hope that you have something to write with, something to write on as I share with you conversations and ideas about how to create multiple streams of income. In our last podcast, the first part of building streams of income, we talked about building a foundation. You have to have a foundation of income that's coming into your house, right? Depending, whatever you do on a daily basis to earn income, you have to master that idea so that you continue to bring in the foundation of your income. See, the foundation comes before multiple streams of income can be taken advantage of. Now, why, Aaron, should we be creating multiple streams of income? Well, the very first reason that you should have multiple streams of income is for security. It's protection. My grandmother Chip always said, make sure that you diversify your assets. Make sure that you diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you have employment, you work for a company, you work for an organization, or even if you work for yourself and you're bringing in income, if that's your only source of income, you are challenging your security. You could lose that income and then you lose your lifestyle. Well, we don't want you to lose your lifestyle. We want you to be able to maximize your lifestyle by having multiple streams of income. So the foundation is first before you start creating streams of income. Let's talk about some more streams of income that are available to you. Once again, if you are earning at least $150,000 to $500,000 a year, we want you to attend our Daily Bread podcast. Not only do we want you here, but eventually we're going to start to engage you. We're going to start having conversations with you so that you can share some of the concerns, some of the interests you have, or some of the ideas that you have in helping you build multiple streams of income and building wealth for your family. So let's continue our conversation about multiple streams of income. Another source of multiple streams of income is what we call dividend income. How does dividend income work, Aaron? Dividend income is having a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. It could actually be just stocks, or it could be just bonds, or it could be a combination of. When you have this stock portfolio, you are purchasing what we call dividend stocks. Dividend stocks pays a dividend on a yearly basis. Let me kind of give you an example. Procter and Gamble is a dividend stock, or Altria, Philip Morris is a dividend stock. In other words, when that portfolio earns return, it not only earns interest as a return, it earns dividend as a return. And that dividend is passed on to you as the shareholder. So let me give you an example that you have a portfolio of, let's say, 50 dividend stocks in your portfolio. And with these dividend stocks is distributing off 6% dividend. We just use that for an example. And you have $100,000 portfolio. That 100,000 portfolio is giving you $6,000 a year in dividend income. Well, add another zero to that 100,000. Now let's say $1,000,000. You have $1,000,000 portfolio. You're getting 6% dividend. That's giving you $60,000 a year in income. That's giving you a cool $5,000 a month in additional income. This is income, folks, that you don't have to work for. This income that's continuously coming to you and your household every single month. That's what we call dividend income. Now, if you use dividend income using bonds as an option, and yes, you can use bonds, you can use corporate bonds or municipal bonds, which are tax-free bonds. But let's say you're using corporate bonds. Instead of having that stock with Procter and Gamble, you now have what we call ownership, or you lend money to Procter and Gamble so they continue to do their business, pay their salaries, right? Get their equipment, pay for their rent, etc. So you're lending money to them. So you lend $100,000 to Procter and Gamble among all these other stocks in the portfolio, or bonds in the portfolio, bonds we're speaking of, in the portfolio. And these bonds are paying 6% dividend. There you go. You put 100,000 in, you get $6,000 a year, you get $500 a month in dividend income from your bonds. Streams of income that you don't have to work for. Add a zero to that number. You got $1,000,000 in bonds. Corporate bonds. And corporate bonds come in different levels. They come in AAA, AA, triple B, double B. You can imagine the higher the rating, the higher the A versus the B versus the C, the more rate of return, or the guaranteed more of return you get, has less risk with it because it's a triple A. If it's a double A, you can imagine it has a little bit more risk than a triple A. Or A has a little bit more risk, with a little bit more risk because a little bit higher bond yield. Okay, so you're getting down a 6% dividend, and you have triple A and double A bonds in your portfolio. You're getting 6%, and you got a cool $1,000,000. You're getting a nice $60,000 a year or $5,000 a month in income. Haven't you just diversified your portfolio? So you now have your full-time job, and you're earning $250,000 in your full-time job, and you have an additional $60,000 a year coming in income from your corporate bonds. That's another stream of income. So as we've talked before in our first session, we talked about real estate investment trust, getting dividend income. We talked about being a landlord, having a tenant pay you income from your rental properties in a form of income. We just talked about stocks, buying dividend stocks, not growth stocks, Not saying that they're not good. We're not talking about growth right now. We're not talking about defensive stock right now. We're not talking about international global stocks right now. We're talking about dividend stocks, pay you a dividend, right? You don't have to work for it. Income comes in. Oh, by the way, the income is coming in. The principal that you put in is staying the same. So you put in 100,000, that 100,000 stays the same. You're getting $500 a month on a 6% bond or 6% stock portfolio with dividends. That's what we're talking about. Look here, there's some more sources of income. I love to have this conversation about sources of income because what sources of income allow you to do is allow you to have the independence that's important to you in your life. Having multiple sources of income give you the freedom that you wish to have in your life. Having multiple streams of income allow you to have less risk on your career or your job, right? You're not married to your job or your career. You're not worried, but you're not going to be there tomorrow. Why? Because you have multiple streams of other income coming in. See, other streams of income is also important because it allows you, once you get good at it and you understand it, it allows you to be able to teach your kids how to create multiple streams of income. When we think of multiple streams of income, we think about getting another gig or having an entrepreneurship idea, concept, making more income. We actually want to physically work for more income. Now, Aaron is not saying nothing is wrong with working for more income, but once you build that wealth, once you get to a point in your life where you're building wealth, what you're doing is you're now creating streams of income that you don't have to work for. That's called passive income. Passive income is the best income that you can have because not only it comes to you for the rest of your life, you can design this passive income to go to your children and your grandchildren. Why I am encouraging you, if you earn 150,000 to $500,000 a year, why am I encouraging you to tune into Daily Bread? The reason I am because you are capable of building the wealth, not just the income. You're able to build the wealth that allows you to have that peace of mind that you wish that you would have in your home, in your life, and your family. See, multiple streams of income allow you to do a whole lot of things. It allows you to make decisions that are important to you, not to someone else. So let's talk about some other sources of income. Well, annuity income. What is an annuity, Aaron? Annuity is an investment that is offered from an insurance company. That insurance company takes a lump sum payment from you as an investment. And you take that lump sum payment and go into that investment. The annuity gives you a monthly payment forever, keeping the principal of your investment. That's right. Keeping the principal of your investment. You're now having income come off. So let's use the same example. $100,000 amount going into the annuity. The annuity is paying you 6%. You're getting $500 a month in annuity income for the rest of your life. Beautiful. You want to add a zero to that? Put $1 million in. 6% on $1 million is $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month. Income from your annuity. From your annuity. Once again, this is another form of income. There's beauty, as I said, again, by having multiple streams of income. See, when we are young children going into our high school years, what is generally taught to us, I know my mom and dad did this, was they say, Aaron, Reggie, Marlon, these are my brothers. We want you to get a good job, have a good career, make a good living, be a good citizen. And that's what we did. We went to school, got, I guess, decent grades, decent enough to graduate. And we went on our way to look for employment, to look for a career. What we didn't know, what my mom and dad didn't teach us, because they were not taught this, they didn't teach us financial education and financial literacy. They didn't teach us that. That wasn't a conversation that I had in my household. And I'm sure many of you who are tuning in, you didn't have that conversation in your house. But here you are today, and you're making great money. And some of you are stashing money away into your retirement accounts, your 401ks and your IRAs, and you're buying real estate. Good for you. Good for you. But you can even step it up even more by understanding multiple streams of income. Now, there are you who are making great income. And you have always thought, and maybe even today, even think that because you have high income, you're wealthy. No, it just means that you have a high income. That income could be taken away from you any day. Wealth comes from having assets, not income. In other words, I have enough assets where I can kick my feet up, I can be at home, and I can create enough income to help me support my life. That's wealth. And that's where I want you to be. That's where I want you to create the idea of teaching your children. That's where to be. Because when you have multiple streams of income, is where you win. You win financially in your life because you have peace of mind, because you're comfortable. You don't have to worry. You maintain your independence. You have your freedom. You maintain your good health. You even have even a stronger relationship with your God. You're able to give more because you got multiple streams of income. So we've had conversations once again in the previous podcast. We talked about real estate and how you create income from active real estate. We talked about real estate investment trust, how you create income from real estate investment trust. There are some exotic ideas of receiving income out there that you can use where you lend money to individuals who have homes and you can get income coming in from people who own houses. Right? This is private equity stuff. I'm not going to get so much into that right now. There's another source of income as we get older, you qualify for something that's called Social Security. Social Security is another stream of income. Matter of fact, Social Security is in many households the largest investment that you own. Aaron said it. Social Security is an investment. Why is it an investment, Aaron? See, if you take your Social Security benefit, let's assume that you're getting a $3,000 a month income. Because you high income earners, you're going to get $3,000 to $4,000 a month in income when you retire with Social Security. Social Security gives you a monthly payment for the rest of your life. That's a stream of income. See, if I was generating $3,000 a month from my Social Security benefit, I would have to invest $2.8 million to be able to get $3,000 a month or $36,000 a year off as income. So technically, when you receive your Social Security statement, it doesn't show you at the top what it's valued, but your Social Security benefit is valued at $2.8 million. That's right. $2.8 million creates $36,000 a year in income. See? That's based on a 2.5, 2.25% dividend rate off the portfolio. See? That's multiple streams of income. Here's another multiple stream of income. You got a 401k plan. Or you got a 403b plan if you work for a hospital or a school system. You may have a profit sharing plan with your 401k plan. You might have a 457 deferred comp plan if you work for a governmental agency, or a thrift savings plan if you work for the federal government. And you got $1 million in your retirement account. You got $1 million. Your $1 million allows you to generate, you can generate 5% of that without touching the principal. without touching your $1 million. That's $50,000 a year in income, $4,800 a month in income from your investment. That's another source of income. You know, as I end this conversation for the day, my goal is to have my listeners, my followers, position themselves financially to win. And many times these concepts are not shared with us. They're not taught with us. Many times we don't seek out the advice that allows us to be able to maximize our wealth. Many times we don't know where to go. Many times you have to have a certain minimum amount of wealth for someone to even talk to you about these strategies. See, I have a responsibility. At 60 years old, I have a responsibility from the community that I come from and the wealth that I've been able to generate in my own life and the business assets that I've been able to build. My goal is to show you how to do it, to coach you how to do it. We're not talking about going on TikTok and listening to some ideas and people telling you what to do and they're not sure what to do. We have done it. We have done it. And we've done it for thousands of our clients. So I want you to continue to tune in to Daily Bread. And we're going to bring all these different ideas about how you build wealth. We're going to show you how to use the tax code to be able to maximize your wealth, minimize your taxes. We're going to talk to you about how you use life insurance to maximize wealth to your children and your grandchildren. We're going to show you how to use life insurance to protect your business. We're going to talk to you about how you invest in stocks and bonds and how you use a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k versus using the traditional. We're going to have conversations with you about how you set your estate up, why you should use a trust maybe versus a will. Do you have a power of attorney? What does it mean? How do they work? We're going to have these conversations with you. We're going to talk to you about how you invest in other people's business and receive a return from those business ideas. We're going to talk to you about money scripts. What's your money script? Right? How do you think about money? How you were raised when you were younger to start to think about money and how it has extended into your adulthood. We're going to talk about why you make bad decisions with money. We're going to show you how to turn that around. We're going to show you how you are doing well with money. You're hoarding it. We're going to show you how to unhoard it. See, these are the conversations that we're going to have on Daily Bread. Once again, this conversation today is multiple streams of income. One thing about multiple streams of income is that you have to build up to understanding how to generate those. That comes with basic financial literacy. That's understanding our amortization system. How to make sure that you position yourself that you're not carrying debt. Right? Whoever told you, college educated, degreed, many of you with multiple degrees, many of you with advanced degrees, whoever told you that you should carry and have to carry a 30-year mortgage? Why don't you only carry a 7-year mortgage? Whoever told you that you couldn't have an apartment complex and be receiving 10 doors of income? See, no one has ever told you that. And they haven't told you that because they don't want you to know that. Well, we're going to teach it to you. God bless you. We look forward to talking to you soon. This is Daily Bread. Have a good night.